Sangmala dire yangjara samne tajidelo shugoye.
I would love to welcome everyone today.
Ni da choji domche nangne ne donzen somba. Chö damje donje da mebe kola ngazo kazang shebe chö ne kale mal shugoyin.
Today, we are going to continue with the topic that we have started looking at yesterday. That's the third of the four Dharma seals.
Rada kazang ngazo ngakja ngozen jabare da gogje ji tenzik sana mendo gogje ji jumzen ne regwa donzo da kale ne da shuayin.
In the yesterday's teachings, we have covered the object that is to be refuted. So what are we actually going to refute? And today we will look at actual reasonings, the methods, the techniques that we employ in order to refute that object.
Da gogje ji regba ani so de ngazo da nang shimbe chö den so sangma ji atela ani kyu ngo rewo ani ta de tamje ji ani rangshin wa denzel la cheba chene ani tongni de la phago yore.
When it comes to the reasonings or the logical arguments that resolve emptiness, here we speak about a few different types of investigation. Investigation of the cause of appearances, investigation of the essential identity of those appearances, the investigation of the result, and the investigation of all the nature. So in this way, by using those different logical arguments, right, that look at the appearance from all those different sides, right, the causes, the results, and so on, we ascertain, we resolve that the nature of all appearances is that of emptiness or shunyata.
Tandi nana tangbo gyula cheba ina ta tenzi de mingla gyula choba toje seme tenzi sana dine shugu yore. Ane toje seme tenzi de nazo tanda nang shimbe chö tenzo tsangma ane gyu korang rang le cheba re dan gyu mayimba shenshi le cheba re dan gyu imi niga le cheba re dan ane gyu min le cheba kari re wa dende je kone ane cheba dan rogu yobare.
Right, so let's look at those reasonings one by one. The first one, the one that investigates the cause of all appearing phenomena, is known as the diamond splinters argument of the middle way, right? The investigation of the cause, the diamond splinters. So here, what we analyze is the production or origination of all phenomena. That is to say, we look at the causes, where those phenomena can come from. And especially we investigate the following four possible origins of all phenomena, whether they arise from a self, from other, from both, or from neither. That is to say that all phenomena are causeless, right? The fourth one, neither, means that they would be causeless. So that's what we are going to look at, right? The reasoning that analyzes the production by means of one of those following four possibilities, or four extremes, actually.
Da gyu sozo le chewa deba sana mendo thag le chewa sana yan rigi yore. Wada di le cheba doos tangwa ina ni kangsa ji da ji kone samla dangda ji da chwe ji da Wata den jingwane ene samlo dangda nyi lega yore. Ta kandar kansa je dangme ten la pap sa kongurwa. Chu je dangme ten la pap la go yore. Ta dinye kari ina yang ta tagle ta kye se dun dodang rimino khashe je yong yore. Ta chik di peje mang che chubda la ma shu na ma do chubda la shugan peje je samlo la dene yore. Jigden di tamje thakbo am, jigden tamje je chebabo, jigden tamje kawane chungre se du zana, ane thakba chikbo rawang chen, ane o dene chik sueba re, ta dila ming dhamana daksha garwa la dang, ane la mayin ba dang, kashi je tuyu ming dag yore, kashi je lai ming dag yore, ta ming dag dang dhamana so yoba re. Shikdi ta dila, di ni cheba bo di khande re se di zana khadu na gyura me ba tak ba ko mangbo yore be sana yo ma re ko chik chik bo re ani she je cho tham je la chap de yore jigden tham je ma jung be ngarol do yo de ba re ani jigden tham je ani cheba bo yang re de yore dan nga zo lungi yogul chung chung je yo ba da dul thawo ji gyura te ba chama yang zo ta cheba bo di tene yuwa sana mendo, di samba sana mendo, chababu yi rangwa la tene chungdugu yore. Ani takba chikbo rangwaan chenji. Ani korang gyurwa dang dene kaya mare yas. Ani dewu sangma korang reda mare lamna tati. Kashi chigi dewu di gyu korang la tate meba yinsunga yore la. Kashi chigi dewu di zo gyu la tate ba yinsunga yore. Ta tandang alingo la nga zo dewu di gyu dang chikba yinsunga la ane tangsha dana gaji yagin.
So among those four possible regions of phenomena, four extremes, right? The first one is that of a self, so we will call it self-production, right? So here we actually are concerned with both the production of the self, of individual, like, right, a person, and also of all phenomena. So what's that, right? Origination of all phenomena, and also of a personal self, me, right? And here we need to gain certainty, resolve the both self of a person and self of phenomena is not produced from a self, right? From itself, is not produced from itself. So how are we going about this kind of reasoning? Here, first of all, we need to understand the claims of those who state that everything is produced from itself. And those beings usually are not just some common folks who believe in those kind of productions, but rather specifically followers of philosophical tenet systems, right? So they have studied, and through their studies, they came to believe that everything comes from itself. Actually, sorry. Right, Khenpo di Hladan du di shenle keva. Marepe, yanadagle keva.
Rela, kashi ji du mingdag yore, kashi ji la mingdag yore, kashi ji tak sana mingdag yore, mingdag da mendo yung yore.
Dene di keva shina ne di dag shen nika maimpa di dagle keva. Dagle keva ina di hlachik yores ina di da. Okay, di dagle keva ras. Right. Sorry, just to clarify. Right. We are concerned with the production from self. Just the thing is that this self, so-called self, is called differently or labeled differently by different followers of those philosophies or religions. Some call this creator, right, a god, a deity, a divinity. Some call it a self, right? In either way, what all those claims have in common is that this kind of creator of all phenomena is believed to be permanent, unchanging, singular, autonomous, independent, right? So some even call it a time, or time creates it, right? Some call it God, divinity. It doesn't matter. The point is that all those uh, followers, proponents of this kind of view believe that this cause of all phenomena is unchanging, like God. It's really permanent, and it's not multiple, it's singular, and it pervades all phenomena, and it exists before the origination of the world, right? It's already existent prior to all phenomena coming to be. And then they say that all phenomena, all phenomena down to the smallest particles, like atoms, and the movement of those atoms all depend on this great self or divinity, right? They all come from the intent of that self. So now some of the followers believe that the result, that is to say, those phenomena that originate, exactly the same as the cause, right? They're equal to the cause. Some claim those results to be different from the cause. So here we're going to look at those claims one by one.
다달레 제와 인소나 아니 저 탐제 닥스나면도 쪼람나 지기라 라람나 지기 민가르다나 잡을 민도데 저 탐제 디코랑 모치바르다 타르레 저와제 당고고 요래 아니 텐저 제진 저 상마 아니 지든 잡아보데 나 모치바르 랑신 지그레 치남주르 카그레 선데네 그래 칸 낭데 카이다 조다 카시 지기 아니 칸 낭데다 치데 가지 시그로와 칸 낭라 아니 가서로 최담제 야랑신 냠바 윤두 아니 다셔보 좀 모아서나면도 지든 제법은 오나 열매장도 그래 카치들 랑신 민냠상 아니 남주를 잡으나 옹그래 쓰기래 딱한 랑신 민냠비 제롤도 유베 남주르다 조다 제라서 바당 사주 멜롱라서 바당 안데도 당님 잡으나 용어 된서 제디 낭데지 제든 잡아보다 뭐 찍바 인소나 코라랑 차대게 요래 안 코라랑 인소나 다 양절 양제 깨고 그 요래다 요 말해서 다 대삼도 전당 고로 와다 코라랑 인소나 양절 양제 깨고를 람나 난 코딱바 세든게 딱바 찍보 라완제 라긴 타니디 아니 대야스칼라 가보 차게 요래 양제 양제 깨소나 건 유라템 보러 와 아니 깨기 말해 람나 아니 나랑 조지 두제지 처담제 깨워 낭대 요래 딩몬숨당 갈도 요래 다스 큐네 깨기 말해 딘소 상마 촌낭래 어서는 되네 셰바이나 아니 가서로 파당 보당 사오다 양사라서 봐 딘소 아니 다 켈린지기 지기 매서 다녀라 어디 계제셰고로와 아니 달래 다께선 계제티 탄냐거랑 배주도 미쳐버려 오지 어디네로지 네 당번되지 쉬잖아
When those philosophers, followers of those philosophical schools of self-production, claim that all phenomena are just a result that arise from the self, whatever they call that self, some call it prakriti, it's a Sanskrit term, like a principal deity, whatever they call it. The idea is for those followers, the idea is that there is this creator, right? And all appearances that originate, they are the same as this creator. However, they appear by taking on different modes or expressions, different manifestations. So it's actually a quite complex view. So when they assert this self-production, right, they assert that when all phenomena are in equilibrium, when they are in balance, they exactly in the same state as the creator, right, the original creator. But when they they get unbalanced, the can say that equilibrium get disturbed, right, they manifest outwardly. So inwardly they remain in this kind of a equal state with the creator, but when that state gets disturbed, they manifest outwardly, and they transformed into different manifestations of elements like fire, water, wind, earth, right? All what we basically perceive is this manifestation of the unbalanced state of those original elements they claim, right? All the happiness and suffering, all of those experiences come as this kind of a manifestation of the transformed state. So now we can ask a few questions to, to the believers of that kind of view. Right? So if the phenomena are already there in this original state, they rest equal with the creator, right? They're already there. Why do they need to rise? What is the reason for production, right? When we claim self-production, there must be purpose, but if they're already there, there's no reason for them to rise again, right? Because also when they arise, when they are produced, it involves a change, right? Because let's say they were not there and now they're produced. The whole process of production means there's a change, right? But they claim that it was already there. So, and that's kind of basically goes against the view of permanent and so on and so forth. If they claim, okay, they don't arise, they're already there, so they're not arising anew. Well, what do you mean they don't arise anew? That really contradicts our basic direct experience of reality, right? Our common sense, what we see with our own eyes, let's say, with our valid cognition, right? All phenomena appear, right? They were not there, then they come to be. So the claim that they don't arise also doesn't hold. What if those opponents will keep persisting and say, well, actually, no, they don't arise because, what you see as origination, what you see with your own eyes, it's nothing but a maya, they call it, delusion. It's not real. But if they claim that actually in reality phenomena don't arise because they've already been there primordially and all of this is just big delusion, then what about all these common things that we all, right, experience, our common senses, like, right, there's a heat of the fire, right, there's fluidity of the water, there's a father, it's because we can call someone father because they have a child, right? This is like our common sense consensus. We can ask them, accept that as well, right? Don't you kind of agree with these relative conventional terms? If you call all this delusion and that in reality nothing really arises as you claim, then that's all gonna fall apart, right? This common conventional reality will not hold, right? So this is how we question them. That's how we poke their views.
네, 다 나신도 네, 다 교난 저거 바데 교디 직부 인스나 라브여와 딱바 직부 라완진 랍드 직부 인선나 딱고 템버조바 모랑신 유라메바지 직부 인바레 덴데 윤나 아는 콜라 체주 가셰지 콜라 체주 숨된 시기래 가셰지가 체주 응아된 시기래 가셰지가 체주 된된 시 용거다 체주 망보 요선나 안 체주 망보데 코랑 당어직 다대 간레레 삼노다나 캔자오자그래 배자나 제주 숨된 시긴 진원에 삼노다나 제주 숨된데 공조지 측다는 돌 몸바 닝도 어된데 제주 숨라그래 다들라 돌 몸바 닝도데 같이 되는 거지 저는 도자 샤당 띠목 양나 가르서고래 대화 동al 당념 가능능원에 언데데 단위 배제 단계열에 다 된소 숨보데 찬냠베 찬냠바 요근데라 네 지든 제바보함 조선 명다 로고도와 이네 대화 동al 당념 숨자 찍임바 아니 가서래 도자 샤다 때무 숨자 찍임바 된데지 쓰그래베 된데 도자 샤당 때무 인 라바다 아니 가서래 대화데 동알데 당념 인 랍소나 때콘자 캔서 쇼지자도 그래 된서 상망 오와 찍바 인소나 땅도 용당 권한당 갈대요래 디케주 숨보디 아니 소랑신데 나 개발매 찍인 람나 따다 되게도 되게면도 어딘데지 삼노당서나 따다 차게면도 와 데네 따다 차게면서 아니고 찍부 인세근데 당 개주 숨 차냐바 인세근데 니디 난갈 따다 차르고 유디 인자랑게 제든 제법어데 찍부 인사 아니 대양들이 말해 찍제 다 찍부 인람서나 양 르우 말리바 탐제 규코랑 인 라고요와 르우 말리바 탐제 규코랑 인소나 규라 타데 메바 인두 카두 이나야 아니 나조 르우 용조제 요거바지 차고요래 카두 이나야 르우 용조제 요나 아니 나조 데비투 마음바투 다다웨투 아니 두 망보제 샤발라 펜도 가마 샤바레 상마 뒤지 마도바 아니 뒤숨시 당 데네지 유로다발라 거바가에 매바레 그래서 상마 아니 조랑신 지게 말에 조랑신 딩올라 뭐네 카드 있나야 요래 마음버쳐 담제 단다 요고래 데비쳐 담제 단다 요고래 다 데네지 뭐ben 나랑 좀 낭당당 뱃코랑 갈때바 인상 데네양 지게 요나 쓰기래 나서
Let's question more this school of thought that believes in self-production, right? They claim that perhaps the result of all these apparent phenomena are the same as the cause. And the cause, as I have already mentioned, they claim to be singular, independent, unchanging, truly existent, right? Whatever they call it prakriti, you can call it this principle, right? This kind of consciousness, pure consciousness. So at the same time, actually, they claim that this cause is endowed with a few features. Sometimes they say it's endowed with 3, sometimes 5, sometimes 7, right? In this way, actually, they describe it as being kind of diverse, multiple, right? Consisting of different principles. How is it then singular? At the same time, they call it singular. And yet they claim that there are this, let's say, 3 features, right? If we talk about 3 features, they are kind of constituents, qualities, we can say gunas in Sanskrit. They call them the sattva, which is essence, the rajas, movement, and tamas, inerty. Well, let's make it a bit easier, right? Sattva, rajas, tamas, Sanskrit terms. Actually, what those 3 qualities refer to is our, according to them, is our emotions of desire, anger, and indifference, right? One is then kind of like is the state of being lustful, one is being angry, one is being indifferent. So then what they further say in their philosophical view is that when those 3 qualities, gunas, are in a balanced state, in equilibrium, right, then that's kind of constitutes this prakriti. That's when we can say it's turned inwards, and we're talking about they talk about this principle prakriti being this creator, right? When they are all in a balanced state, then that's the creator. When they get disturbed, then all those different experiences of ego and other things, all what we perceive arise according to them. But how can they be the same? How can they claim that the creator is singular and yet is endowed with these different sides? Also, different sides, they basically claim that anger and attachment and our indifferent state are the same. But how is that so, right? How could attachment be exactly the same as anger or indifference? It doesn't make sense. Their claim doesn't make sense in there, right? Trying to say that they all constitute the same nature of sameness does not really hold. It's not logical. It's not tenable. Right? As well, they claim that they're present at all the times, right? Unchanging, remember? So it's present completely, perfectly, already existent in a very original state, right? Before even all these manifested appearances arise. It's already there. But if it's already there, then the problem is that to explain the three times that we all experience, the past that we all experience, the present and future, right? It's so evident to us that there's these three times, but this will not be tenable anymore if we hold to this belief that this already completely perfectly present at the time of the cause, right? Arising from itself means at the time of the cause, result is already there, fully complete, means the future is already there in the past, right? The present is already in the past. It doesn't make sense, right? We see that some things yet to arise, some already have arisen in past, but for them it would be always there because they're same by nature, always present. So the three times will fall apart. That's another problem with their view.
Da na shen do da de do jiden jeba bo de rawan chen jin yin zon na ni de rawan chen yin la bu yo wa rawan chen de khang ge ra korang gi de ba ja rawan ren da yang ju da chen chen la de ge be rawan chen ren da du la de ge be rawan chen re an korang gi de ba la ra le pare se ba yin na ene de bi xiang wang du ju ba cha ge yo re gyujin la tuyo kukure la bayi na taarang rawang bayi ba cha sa ware duyi la tuyo kubare la maya taa na xin xiangwaan gyur dhukure ma do ba rawang yinba de cha ki yo ma re ta rawang yinba shekam su reshe din su diro gyabura wa kiwi chua tam chik duzu chi la chunga yo ma re duyi loga la chung dhukure yo re di kuwa rawang gyukune kuwa shak ba re saki duyi ane rawang den dweba la ra le kuyo badang ane gyudan ken da menda la tenne ane menda nangiyo ba sangma xiangwa rang cha rukudwa chedu ane takba re chikbu re rawang sakende ane xeba di dweme ba cha rukudu tendre jin jiden jeba bo rangshin ju choba chikdi zan na nyegi mendo sakayo re
Khenpo Laja di gyudan ken latineci rajun gyores di tsovo di dopa sosu dopa
kashe jige kare shekere se di rawang re sakirwa ane duzu chikla sheche chua tamche chungu mendo kashe ngoma chung, kashe tanda chung, kashe maungpa che sache chikla yang chua tamche chungu yomaro chok so chok tang tu mendo nangi yobade kare re se di ane jikden koiba baam cheba bo di ane rawang jene ane duzu dila mendo ane suhe shakbare labdu di mendo kante jin suhe re ane chikda suhe marba lamna koi dweba re sa korangi ane semji ta koi jikden cheba bo yin dweba re labu yorwa jikden cheba bo dweba re labu samji dwebi xiangwa do gyur song san dene je labu yore ane duzu mendo chungwa de jen dha mendo la ra leki re san dene je deshi jabu yore dene deshi jamna yang jenji xiangwa do gyur barang chagi du ma do ba 아니 라왕이 뭐대한 참마송아스 한 뒤라 답좀 바래라 바이나 양 뒤지 상황을 뭐도 바질라 라왕이 뭐대한 개참마송아스 아니 라왕이 거는 저담제 좀 바래 쇠바서 세근데야 아니 되면 바래 서게래
Their other claim is that this creator, the self, the main principle, is independent, right? It's autonomous. It creates without relying on anyone or anything but itself. So let's investigate this claim. Actually, if we if we observe how things arise, how phenomena come to be, they don't all appear at once, all together, at the same time. They also don't arise in the same place, like they all arise simultaneously in one place. That's not the case, right? And the fact that they don't arise all at once and in the same place accounts for the volition of that creator who sometimes wants to, let's say, create them in this time and in this space, and sometimes not. And that wish, that intent of the creator means what? It means the creator is dependent. It's dependent on its own wish, and it's not independent, because the wish here, intention, really refers to causes and conditions, right? Sometimes creating here, sometimes there. Otherwise, if there was no wish, everything would arise at once in the same place. But since it's not the case, it really shows that the creator is not autonomous, is not independent, but rather creates based on condition of one's own intention and wish. Likewise, if the opponents here claim that the three times, past, present, and future, right, they're always there, but they all at the same time, let's say, but they just appear to us differently, right? Sometimes the past, sometimes, future, they appear based on different circumstances. Well, if that's the case, again, appearances are dependent, right? They depend on conditions, the circumstances, right? So again, they wouldn't really hold to claim that this kind of three times that's already present at the time of creator right there also will be independent and autonomous. It's not the case, because if they depend on conditions, circumstances to appear and sometimes not appear, again, they claim to be independent, right? Independent, autonomous, self-sufficient. The self-creator does not really hold, does not withstand our reasoning.
다디 강사지 다경원에 계시는 된대로 이제 자기를 강사 다음에 된라 밥다 양 최지 다음에 된라 밥다 조진의 섬로당나 아니 다다나 나랑도 둘라 유비 잘라된조 코랑코랑 기계버래당 다 계시고 그러와 코랑코랑 기계버래람나 그게 고야요 말에 가서 둘라 조제여래 대별에 아니 잘라 담으래 코랑코랑 견과 당분에 깨사와래도 당분에 여바져래 되요래 당분에 여사나 아니 바째고 벌 김생 가야 민돌라 다른 우주 때문에 깨그래람나 깨와 톡바 매봐 깨사르도데 깨서는 깨라 조야 그러 매봐 자고 그래 깨라 조야 그러 매봐 인소나 되는 가서 대변은 말매데 타마 눈데 조사와절라 말매 세도 그래 다 대양 안 많이 맞차고 그래 눈 조나야 말매 세주 매봐 주고 그러와 안 대양 다다 면도와 지도 코란 말매데 코란 깨와이 망가서 간제진 룹도 그래 만매지 깨 고고여나 안 알랭으로 공부지 고고여래 되네 말 고고도 동래 고고도 아니 매 고고도 망보정 좀말로 때네 고 중그래 마도 바질라 코랑코랑 당면에 룹여서나 아니 디 공부 소근지 소와든 이제 칼레자 바다 마르소근지 레가자 바다 동래 소에 레가자 바다 아니 규제 망보 칼레 망보 잡아라 네 되면 바자도 그래 코랑코랑 ran신 연구로 와 코랑 당분이 랑신 깨워지네 가야 나야 요 말에 다른 데랑 레람나 능가서 파당 분이 찍바 연구고요 법무당 아마니 찍바 연구고요 군제 강보 되는 고딩로로 그러와 군제 상만 고등로는 되는 가서 뒤 카르마직니 숨체다 카르자직니다 추조직니 가양스에 매바자로 그래 상마 찍바 연구로 와 되는 괜히 말에 소소소소 면도 그징아마데 치마 말해라 치마데 양지 말해 코랑코랑랑 깨어있는 그 찍인 거주로 와 어딘데니 다저당다 지어버려서
This is how, through these reasonings that we just covered, that's how we point out, resolve the selflessness of an individual. Right? They claim that this person, self, arises from itself. To continue to resolve selflessness of phenomena, the lack of truly existing self in phenomena that arise from itself, right? We will question these phenomena that, according to this school, are produced from themselves, right? Basically, they claim that a thing is produced from itself. But if that were the case, we reason with them, then origination will become pointless. If something exists with its own, particular identity, right? Like thing right here in front of me, right? What we see, if it's already existent, its production is pointless. It will be pointless for it to arise once again. If it's already there, why does it need to be produced newly? And another fault with their reasoning is if it's, for example, the thing in front of me, right, were to be produced over again, then it would be produced again and again and again without end. Origination, from a self will become endless. Right? The fault with it is if it's already there and needs to be arise once again, then it will again needs to be, originated and again, right? So that again doesn't make any sense. For example, like a butter lamp, right, in front of me. Generally, butter lamp, well, when we have a flame, when it's lit up for a short moment of time, for as long as the butter doesn't run out, right, then then the flame will be extinguished, right? So actually, if we think about the butter lamp, for it to be existent, many things have to happen. Someone actually needs to make that butter, right? It doesn't happen by itself, actually. Also, the vessel, right, to fill that with butter, to lit up, to have matches, right? So then we have this flame right here. But that's what happens. It depends on many causes, conditions, and people. But if, according to the school, everything is already existent, so it arises from itself, so it's already there in the first place, all those actions to create, to make butter, to fill the lamp, to light it up, etc., will be pointless. Again, it will be completely, insanely useless to be doing that because according to the school, it's already there, right? Also, even the idea of father and son, this kind of a concept will collapse in themselves because if the result is already present at the time of the cause because it's produced from itself, it means that the father is already there when there is a son and they become the same. There will be no difference. We won't be able to distinguish between, right, such as a parent and a child. Ridiculous. Or the free times, again, the notion of the free times will also fall apart, will collapse because everything will be already present and become one time. And we won't be able to account for free times which we observe directly, right? And it would contradict our direct perception. So this is a few reasonings also to show the absurdity of the claim of self-production of phenomena.
나 딘조 제바 제데 강사 카젤라 너바데 당 줍다 카젤라 아니 가서 오라 망가 와도 당 덴데 전세 바레 덴데 돈에 많이 바체 나조 심지 젠당디 셔체 들어와 미 다다나 가서 깨와 조 깨제시기 요래 강사 망보지기 다 깨와들 젠당니 요라 군다 제샤지다 렌제 제차 젠당니 요래 단다시에 된서 팔지를 군다 제차 셔체와 동는 게 제셔버려 군다 제차는 셔 용도 되네 깨와 된서 사마는 라요 소바래 제된 제바보 소바래 뒤뒤 소바래 디드네 따바래 치보래 라와래라 소바 데네 줄로 망보 제코네 디지 소바래선 데네 쟁긴지 zembayona zemba de shiriya chedo ani jeba dostan ware ani tat lenje jengone ani kyawa kaji shiriyona de ngazo de tamne de chegudo ne tamne ne chegudo ani phale ne podang pomba de ne che yongodo male podang pomba che yongodo de ne lenje ji zemba che yore de zemba de tene karasa wore doye chida da nga zo remba nipa ane kaso shenje kapso ane kaje shegi yin tanda takje ji kaje dan de che ane tene chewa ro yana ane songro nang
When we engage in these types of reasonings, questioning our opponent and dismantling their views, we might think that we are actually arguing with someone over there, sort of, right? That we actually dislike these people who believe in this sort of self-production, and we're trying to bring them down. Would be a wrong understanding, because in reality what we are doing, we are questioning our own mental graspings, our own ways of apprehending reality, not just kind of taking someone and just sort of destroying the person in front of us. That's not the point, because if we think about our own ways of apprehending reality, of grasping at things, there are two ways we do that, right? Two ways we think or believe in the production or origination. One is the learned one, something that we acquire from studying philosophies, so on, and another one is the innate way we grasp at phenomena. So right now, till now, today, when I went through those types of reasonings and arguments, right, questions, these all pertained to the first way of grasping at reality, the acquired one, the learned one. We can say it's imputed one. It's not natural to us to go around and believe that things arise from a self, right? It's rather that someone, so-called opponent, have studied a specific philosophical view and then came to believe that there is the creator, or this kind of, right, which is self, and it's autonomous, independent, truly existent, singular, permanent, and so on. Those views are not innately present with us from beginning of our life, but rather acquired through studies, and that's what we have been questioning right now, right? Where the innate way of grasping at true reality of phenomena, at their origination, believe that they truly come to be, would be to believe that if we plant a rice seed, what we will get is a rice sprout, right? No one taught us that. We just know it. When we plant a barley seed, there will be a barley sprout, right? There will, the parents call parents because they have a child, so there is this kind of cause and result that we believe to be there, right, in a most intuitive sense, rather than studying some complicated philosophies. And this is the second stage in our reasonings, where we will question these types of beliefs, here known as the origination from other.
dewa yuna sungna jegere.
Right, of course. And then Khenpo said, if you have any questions, you can ask them now. Are there people in the hall, I guess, or you can send your question in the chat in the Zoom.
Wow, in English is okay. Yeah. When you spoke about Maya, when you spoke about Maya and the fact that when the three gunas are in line, then there is like coming back to Prakriti. It seems, recalling to me, is there a relationship with this and ultimate truth and conventional truth? It's quite different in Buddhism and in Samkhya context or whatever. But it looks like maybe they have a kind of intuition of conventional and ultimate when they say that Maya is like in balance, and when there's something in balance, there is something kind of ultimate in the sense of Prakriti. So is there a discussion between a relationship between the two or not?
Very good question. Thank you. Khenpo Sankitoge. Terin Khenpo-gi Jangchenpa-gi korla sung yores. Te Jangchenpa-gi korla sung pikapsu di natso yonten sum di yonten sum di konso di nyam pikapsu di tsovo dan chik pares. Tene manyam pikapsu di chisan chulva japo chulva chik nangidus. Di nesampala di chik nampe tavadan janchempe tavaden da chik kakare inayan chik chinate japo yosare di dundam gidempadan tani gidempa konso yan dije japo chik tonson konsola di janchempala yan di nyampe kapsu dira tsovodan chik pa di chik dundam dempadan minyampe di nangiyo pa di chulva di tanigi tempa de chik Khenpo di tava nigi parla di jelva chik dempa ni di jelva chik yome korla chik sundanan.
Laso reda chubda mawa denzo chedang keche chedang chok tak rinpo ne te sono palcher rawu yore changchen bayi nanda tenmayin be cheru bayi nanda kyangben bayi nanda choba bayi nanda sanje bayi nanda tenpa nini ki namsha de changmen shengi yore kunzum ki dire tonam dire 상매 생겨요. 소소 경원에 딱지니 이제 타래 대당 딱지지 탈을 장당데 는 상매 생겨요. 아니 다 관한 게 송년 당신진의 장전배 다랑 세계를 둘 몸반닝도 좀 찬양배 이제 조자디 돈담 제당 돈담 니까지 세계로 와 로암 챔버스는 이 칸낭 낭데라 아니 둘모마 닝도 좀 찬양바 소레 되요레 디디 뱀버랑신데 디 롱조 저겐 하나 다 셰르게 겨우서는 저요레 디뉴보데 돈담 레서게요 봐 아니 둘모마 차민냠베 차든조데니 남주르니 쇼사수 맘 남주르냐니 가제 셰게도 와 된조 제데니 군좀레 송고요레 tenre jingwane tondam kunzo mi namcha chedang jingwane chekpa chejang re. Ta mendra saade kare chage yore se du tondam ki chwe di kunzo ki cheba bo yimin. Sanje pe da di labgu yo ma re. Jigden cheba bo je kelen che tubu yo ma re. Tondam khora yang tene da
Gondа Khenpo di tama di yankel chik sunrana na yanson di nishu tsapshi gi jela.
남 건조니 니슈 최 니슈 장가 송그래 니슈 장가 나네 조나 탁 전문이 보대 도남 된 말에 셴바 남줄 니슈 사숨데 건조 된 말에 남줄 니슈 사숨 딱 간다 날줄 바지기 띵은즈나 냠바샤 검제 진세제 최진제 아니 검용도잖아 아니 남줄 종어산에 아니 랑신기 조롱 롱들 팀도 그래 조롱들 팀용도 아니 다르바 토버에 선데네 송으로와 안 돈다면 원도 줄로 그래 선데네 저 송난 거 요래 네 장전 배송나라 데네 원에 삼노다는 다우다우 요래 다 제버티 가르쳐 그래 너 돈담 디군접지 제바 버려라고도 와 장전 바도 있나 돈남 상만 군접지 제바 버 말해 돈남들은 니요래 딱 셔르게 교우서 근저 나 조스나면 랑신서 근지 랑신 디라 체주숨 요래 체주숨보디 아니 소소소소지 카탈 용도 아니 남줄 미나오면도 중송래 아니 체주숨 차냐면 낭들라 아니 조라 부여래 디게는 조 체주 카치데 있나다 낭데 있나다 용현데 아니 다감 아니 셰바 레바서 근데 아니 레데요래 디니데 데스 카가체 용요래 아니 다 낭베 아니 제든 잡아먹기는 지게요 말해 다 딘데지 잡아 샤송래 아서
Well, you are absolutely right that actually all philosophical schools, whether it's Samkhya, the one that you rightly pointed out, we spoke about today, or whether it's other, let's say, Indian philosophical schools of thought like Chavakas and the others, Khenpo mentioned a few, sorry, they all have presentations of conventional and ultimate. Of course, any philosophical school will account for what is the relative, what is the ultimate, right? And for Samkhyas, the ultimate is this, actually it's twofold for them. I didn't mention this today, but there are two sides to the ultimate. It's, of course, the Prakriti, this main principle, but also it's Purusha, the self, that, right? The self that, because Prakriti is the nature, it's not conscious. It's actually those three qualities, right, of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the three qualities of the desire, aggression, and indifference. When they are imbalanced, in equilibrium, that's Prakriti, it's unconscious. But then the second part of the ultimate, of the creator, is also the self, Purusha, that enjoys that partakes in those qualities. Right? It's twofold. And then what happens, according to Samkhyas, is when that gets unbalanced and disturbed, that outwards, what manifests is the 23, what do they call them? 23 modes of being, 23 manifestations. Actually, altogether, they account for 25, right? But Prakriti and Purusha, the self and the natures, are two. And those ultimate, and then what unfolds from them when they're unbalanced, that's the 23 manifestations pertaining to relative, to conventional reality, right? So then, according to them, the practitioner, the meditator in the samadhi, in the state of meditative concentration, meditates on those 23, making offerings, and so on and so forth, until that self, small self of oneself dissolves back into its true nature of Prakriti. And in that way, they say the ultimate is actualized. So because self was already part of Prakriti, it's kind of what we call it a self-production. Yeah? It came already from itself, right? And then it kind of got disturbed, sort of created this Maya, the illusions of 23 elements, and then by meditating and so on, then it actualizes its nature and dissolves back into itself, right? Going back to home, let's say, right? That's the ultimate. So the difference is that actually between that view of Samkhyas And the Buddhist view is that for Samkhya's there is a creator. For them, ultimate creates relative. From the ultimate principle of Prakriti, the nature, the three gunas being state of equilibrium, comes those 23 right modes of being, and they're relative. They came from ultimate, right? When it's sort of in this inner state, they're in balance. Then outwards, they all come to be, and then the self experiences them, partakes in them, enjoys them. So they talk about this consciousness, pure consciousness, right? They're being there ultimately. And Buddhists don't talk about that. They, well, not only don't talk, I'm sorry, they don't they don't believe in that. It's not in the view of Buddhism to talk or believe in the creator or in the self or in this permanent consciousness that's there on the ultimate level. So there is a difference at the end of the day. Thank you for such a good question.
아니 낭신비 ngobo dunso 상마 깨와 요 말에 가르치려면 코랑코랑라 제기 말에 신뢰 제기 말에 니가래 제기 말에라 규 많이 발에 제기 말에 셰비나나 다 드링가서 달래 제와 요 말에 선디되네 다시 쉬 말에 아니 다 쉬난 저 요매당 가서 고요매 하고 마송 이나 강도도 지게 대서 라우 즉 볼보 배전단지 답전단이 아니 답전 노래양스 그래 는 노래는 건다.
So in today's teachings, we have looked at the self-production and the belief in production from itself and the refutation of that, because according to Nagarjuna, in the root verses of the middle way, in the first verse actually of the treatise, Mula Madhyamika Karikas, he states that not from itself, not from another, not from both, and nor without a cause does anything anywhere ever arise. So in this way, Nagarjuna and all the subsequent Buddhist philosophers, practitioners, refute origination, well, in any mode, from itself, from other, from both, or without a cause. And today we looked at this first extreme of origination from itself. I try to make it clear. I'm not sure whether I succeeded or not. I try to use a less complicated or difficult language, but it's a difficult philosophy, so I tried my best, but maybe I didn't succeed, so I apologize for that. If it was not clear, then I'm sorry. I'm not sure if my methods of teaching this difficult philosophy were useful or not.
Lazo sonam de andam je zembani domne nyebe rana bamje Denga na je bala robai sebe zole ro 와라쇼 라조 도제체 구송 동전나 ngazo sanye jayong.
Thank you.